You know that moment when you discover that everyone knew about your cheating husband except you? Yeah, including the housekeeper, the doorman, and probably even the golden retriever. But finding out 3 hours before his birthday party? That's what I call divine timing. Let me paint you a picture. It's Saturday, March 15th, 2 in the afternoon, and I'm standing in my laundry room in our gated community house in Austin, Texas, holding Rosa's phone. Screen unlocked, WhatsApp open. And there it is, staring back at me like a neon sign in Vegas. A group chat called Poor Estelle. Not poor thing, not you know who. Poor Estelle, my actual name. In a group chat. About me. I'm Estelle Mitchell, 47 years old, mother of 2, married for 23 years to Heath, the so-called perfect husband who never forgot an anniversary, always brought flowers, and called me sweetheart in front of our friends at the country club. We have 2 kids, Paxton, 21, currently finishing his junior year at UT Austin, and Thea, 18, senior year at Westlake High School, already accepted to 3 universities. Heath is turning 50 today. I've spent the last 2 weeks planning this surprise party at the country club. Guest list of 60 people. 3-tier cake from that bakery downtown that charges more than my monthly car payment. A slideshow of family photos that took me 4 days to compile because apparently I'm the only person in this family who knows how to use Google Photos. And here I am, 3 hours before showtime, looking at 3 months' worth of messages. December through March. 90 days of conversation. The participants? Rosa, my housekeeper, my manicurist from the salon on 5th Street, Heath's personal trainer from the gym, and 6 more people I see at every neighborhood barbecue and PTA meeting. The messages read like a true crime podcast I didn't audition for. He showed up with her again at that motel off Highway 183. Poor thing is planning his birthday party while he's planning his exit strategy. Someone needs to tell her. No way, let her find out on her own. Less humiliating that way. Less humiliating. That's rich coming from people discussing my life like it's a Netflix series they're binge-watching over wine and charcuterie boards. The her in question, Daphne Carson, the widow from 3 houses down, the same woman whose husband died a year and a half ago from a sudden heart attack during his morning jog, the same woman I brought homemade chicken soup to when she had the flu last November. The same woman I invited to this party because I felt sorry for her spending another holiday season alone. Turns out she wasn't spending anything alone, especially not Tuesday and Thursday afternoons. The messages show it started 8 months ago, July of last year, right after the first anniversary of her husband's death, Heath consoling the grieving widow. Every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon, when he claimed he had administrative meetings at the dental clinic he owns downtown. The clinic where I happen to hold 40% partnership, by the way, courtesy of the business loan I co-signed when we opened it 12 years ago. Administrative meetings. The man has 3 dental hygienists, 2 receptionists, and a part-time bookkeeper. What exactly requires administrative meetings twice a week for 8 months straight? I scroll through more messages. There are photos. Not explicit ones, thank God, because I don't need that particular trauma added to my therapy bills. But photos of Heath's car parked at the Red Roof Inn off the highway. Photos of them having coffee at a Starbucks in Round Rock, 20 miles from our neighborhood. Photos of him buying flowers at Whole Foods on a Thursday afternoon. The flowers he brought home that night and told me he just saw and thought of me. I thought of you, sweetheart. You deserve beautiful things. Apparently, Daphne thought so too, because according to message number 47, he bought her the same roses, same Whole Foods, same Thursday, just 3 hours earlier. My hands are shaking. Not from sadness, not yet. Right now, I'm operating on pure crystallized rage, mixed with the kind of clarity that only comes when your entire reality shifts 30 degrees to the left, and suddenly, everything that never made sense clicks into place, like a jigsaw puzzle assembled by a sadistic game show host. Those late nights at the clinic? The weekend dental conferences in Houston and Dallas? The new cologne he started wearing last summer that I complimented and he said was a gift from a grateful patient? All of it. Every single piece. A performance. And I was the only one in the theater who didn't know she was watching a tragedy disguised as a romantic comedy. I look at the timestamp on the most recent message. Yesterday, Friday, March 14th, 11:30 at night. Party is tomorrow at 6. Think she'll figure it out when Daphne shows up? Probably not. Estelle is oblivious. Always has been. Oblivious. The word sits in my chest like a stone. Because here's the thing about being called oblivious. It's not that you don't see things. It's that you trust people enough to believe their explanations. When your husband of 23 years says he's working late, you don't hire a private investigator. You text him asking if he wants you to save him dinner. When 12 people at a party know your spouse is cheating and nobody tells you, that's not you being oblivious. That's them being complicit. I take a screenshot of everything. Every single message. Every photo. Every casual comment about my failing marriage discussed over group chat like it's weather patterns or restaurant recommendations. Then I forward it all to my email. 3 separate emails to 3 different accounts, just in case technology decides to fail me today of all days. Rosa walks into the laundry room. She sees me holding her phone. Her face goes white, then red, then settles somewhere around olive green. Mrs. Mitchell, I can explain. I hold up one hand. My voice, when it comes out, sounds eerily calm. Did you leave this here on purpose? She blinks. What? Your phone. Unlocked. Open to that specific group chat. In the laundry room. Where I fold towels every Saturday morning at exactly this time. Did you leave it here on purpose? She stares at me for a long moment. Then quietly, yes. I nod. Set her phone on the washing machine. Thank you, Mrs. Mitchell. I need you to leave for the day, Rosa. Take Monday off too. Paid. I'll text you Tuesday. She opens her mouth, closes it, then leaves. I stand in the laundry room for exactly 3 more minutes. Then I walk upstairs, take a shower, do my makeup, and put on the navy blue dress I bought specifically for this party. The one Heath said made me look like a movie star. When I'm done, I look at myself in the mirror. 47 years old, 2 decades of marriage, 2 kids, 1 cheating husband, 12 complicit friends, and 1 widow who thought she could replace me in my own life. Game on. The country club looks perfect. Of course it does. I spent 3 weeks coordinating with their event manager, choosing between salmon and chicken, debating whether the centerpieces should be hydrangeas or roses, and ultimately deciding on both, because apparently I'm the kind of person who overthinks flower arrangements while her husband is overthinking his affair schedule. I arrive at 5:30, half an hour before guests. Heath is already there, playing golf with his brother until party time, completely unaware that his carefully constructed double life is about to become everyone's dinner conversation. The events coordinator, a woman named Miranda who I've worked with for years, greets me with her professional smile. Estelle, everything is set up exactly as you requested. The slideshow is ready, the cake is in the kitchen, and the bar is fully stocked. Perfect, I tell her. And the microphone system is working? Tested it this morning. You'll be able to hear a pin drop. Oh, Miranda. If you only knew what's about to drop, and it's definitely not a pin. Guests start arriving at 6. I stand by the entrance like the dutiful wife I've been for 23 years, greeting everyone with hugs and smiles. My face hurts from smiling. Every person who walks through that door is someone I've known for years. Neighbors, book club members, other dental professionals and their spouses, Heath's golf buddies, my former PTA co-chairs from when the kids were younger. And 12 of them knew. 12 of them watched me plan this party, listened to me stress about the menu, helped me pick out decorations at Target last weekend, all while knowing my marriage was a sitcom they were watching from the premium seats. Daphne arrives at 6:20. She's wearing a red dress. Red, to my husband's birthday party. The audacity is almost impressive. She hugs me, tells me I look beautiful, compliments the decorations. I smile and thank her. And somewhere in my brain, a small voice is screaming so loudly I'm surprised the champagne glasses aren't shattering. Heath arrives at 6:30, appropriately surprised, hugging me in front of everyone. You're amazing, sweetheart. Best wife in the world. The words feel like sandpaper on my skin. I smile wider. Dinner is served at 7. I watch Heath and Daphne carefully avoid making eye contact across the room. They're sitting at separate tables, of course, because that would be too obvious. But I notice how she glances at him when she thinks no one is looking. How he shifts in his seat when someone mentions her name in conversation. It's like watching a really bad community theater production where the actors forgot they're supposed to be acting. During dessert, I stand up. Miranda hands me the microphone. Everyone quiets down, expecting a sweet birthday speech. The kind where the devoted wife talks about meeting her husband in college, building a life together, raising 2 beautiful children, and growing old gracefully in suburban bliss. Can I have everyone's attention, please? My voice is steady. 23 years of junior league meetings and PTA presentations have trained me well. I want to thank you all for coming tonight to celebrate Heath's 50th birthday. Applause, smiles. Heath beaming at me from his seat. When you've been married as long as we have, you think you know everything about each other. The little habits, the inside jokes, where he keeps his spare reading glasses, what time he leaves for work, when he comes home. People are nodding. Some are getting misty-eyed. This is going exactly where they expect it to go. But today, I learned something fascinating. Turns out, I didn't know everything. For example, I didn't know that Tuesday and Thursday afternoons for the past 8 months, Heath wasn't having administrative meetings at the clinic. He was having meetings of a different nature. At the Red Roof Inn off Highway 183. The room goes silent. The kind of silence where you can hear someone's heart rate increase from across the room. I also didn't know that many of you knew about this. In fact, I discovered this afternoon that there's a group chat, a WhatsApp group, called, and I quote, "Poor Estelle. 12 of you are in it. 12 people in this room spent the last 3 months discussing my husband's affair with our widowed neighbor like it was a reality show you were recapping over brunch." I pause, look around the room. Faces have gone from confused to horrified to desperately trying to remember if they're one of the 12. Now I could be upset about this. I could cry. I could make a scene. But honestly, I'm more impressed by the organizational skills involved. Group chats require commitment. You have to name them, add members, keep the conversation going. That takes effort. So really, I should be thanking you for caring enough about my marriage to create a dedicated communication channel for it. The sarcasm is so thick, you could spread it on the overpriced dinner rolls we're serving. Heath has gone from red to white, to a color that doesn't exist in nature. He's half standing, half sitting, like he can't decide whether to run or play dead. Daphne. I turn to look at her directly. She's frozen in her chair, red dress suddenly looking less bold and more like a target. I brought you soup when you had the flu, homemade. I used my grandmother's recipe, the one I only make for people I actually care about. And you repaid me by sleeping with my husband for 8 months, starting, from what I understand, right around the anniversary of your own husband's death, which is either incredibly tacky timing or spectacularly efficient grieving. I haven't decided which. Someone near the back coughs. It's the only sound in the entire ballroom. So, here's what's going to happen. Everyone who knew and didn't tell me, I want you to raise your hand right now. Come on, don't be shy. You weren't shy in the group chat. Slowly, painfully, 12 hands go up, including Heath's sister, his own sister, who I've spent every Thanksgiving with for 2 decades. 12, I count out loud. That's almost 20% of this party. That's statistically significant. That's practically a focus group. I turn back to Heath. He's standing now trying to find words that don't exist. Heath, honey, remember that $300,000 inheritance from my mother who died 2 years ago? The one you convinced me to put into a joint investment account through the clinic's financial management? The one you said would grow better with professional oversight? His face tells me he remembers. I'm moving it, all of it, back into my personal account. My lawyer already has the paperwork ready. He works Saturdays when it's urgent, and this qualifies as urgent. We have an appointment Monday morning at 8:30, first thing. And at 9 o'clock Monday morning, I'm filing for divorce. The papers are already drawn up. I just need to sign them and submit them to the courthouse. I set the microphone down on the nearest table. The thud echoes through the sound system. The cake is from that expensive bakery downtown. It cost $400. Someone should eat it. It seems wasteful to let it go to waste just because the guest of honor turned out to be a cliché. I pick up my purse, walk toward the exit, and stop at the door. Turn back. Oh, and Heath? That slideshow I made? The one with 23 years of family photos? I included some new additions. Screenshots of the group chat. Photos from the motel. Just in case anyone missed those earlier. Miranda has instructions to play it in exactly 10 minutes. Enjoy the show. I walk out into the March evening. Behind me, I can hear the beginning of chaos. Voices rising, chairs scraping, someone crying. My phone buzzes. It's Paxton, texting from his apartment near campus. "Mom, what's happening? Aunt Lisa just called me freaking out." I text back, "Come home tomorrow. I'll explain everything. Bring laundry. I'll make your favorite dinner." 3 dots appear. Then, "Are you okay?" I think about that question. Am I okay? My marriage just exploded in front of 60 people. My husband of 23 years has been cheating on me for 8 months. 12 people I considered friends watched it happen and said nothing. But I also just took control of $300,000, publicly exposed every person who betrayed me, and ruined a birthday party so thoroughly it'll be talked about in this neighborhood for the next decade. I text back, "I'm spectacular. See you tomorrow." Sunday morning arrives with the kind of clarity that only comes after you've burned your entire social life to the ground in front of 60 witnesses. I wake up at 7, make coffee, and sit in my kitchen scrolling through 37 missed calls and 62 text messages. Most are from people who weren't at the party, demanding to know what happened. A few are from people who were at the party, apologizing with the kind of desperation that suggests they're more worried about their own reputations than my feelings. 3 are from Heath, ranging from, "We need to talk," to, "You're being irrational," to, "I can explain everything," which is the universal language of guilty people who absolutely cannot explain anything. None from Daphne. She's apparently gone silent, which is probably the smartest decision she's made in 8 months. Paxton arrives at noon with 2 garbage bags of laundry and the shell-shocked expression of someone whose stable family structure just became a true crime podcast. Thea gets home from her friend's house 20 minutes later. I ordered pizza, which feels wildly inappropriate given the circumstances, but also perfectly appropriate because what else do you eat when your life implodes? Kale salad? We sit in the living room, both kids staring at me like I've suddenly started speaking ancient Greek. "Your father and I are getting divorced," I say, because there's really no gentle way to deliver that information. He's been having an affair with Daphne Carson for 8 months. I found out yesterday afternoon. I confronted him at the party. It was spectacular and terrible, and I don't regret a single second of it. Thea's face does that thing where emotions cycle through so fast you can practically see them changing like slides in a presentation. Shock, confusion, anger, sadness, back to anger. Daphne, the widow, the one you made me help carry groceries for when she sprained her ankle last fall? The very same. That's disgusting. Agreed. Paxton is quieter, processing. He's always been the analytical one. "How long have you known?" "Since 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Rosa left her phone in the laundry room. There was a group chat. 12 people knew and didn't tell me." "Aunt Lisa?" "Aunt Lisa." He sits back, shaking his head. "That's messed up. We eat pizza. We talk. They ask questions. I answer honestly, leaving out the more graphic details because I'm their mother, and there are limits." Paxton asks about the logistics of the divorce. Thea asks if she has to see her father. I tell them we'll figure it out as we go, which is the most honest answer I have. That night, after they've both gone to their rooms, I sit at my desk and open my laptop. Time to do what any self-respecting woman in my position would do: research. I start with the clinic's financial records. As a 40% partner, I have full access to the accounting system. Heath never changed the passwords because Heath, for all his dental expertise, has the technological sophistication of a potato. What I find is interesting. Very interesting. Over the past 8 months, there have been consistent charges on the clinic's corporate credit card, hotel rooms, dinners at expensive restaurants, jewelry purchases from a boutique in downtown Austin, flowers, wine, a weekend stay at a bed and breakfast in Fredericksburg that was allegedly a continuing education conference. except I can cross-reference the Dental Association's website, and there was no conference in Fredericksburg that weekend. There was, however, a romantic getaway package at the exact bed and breakfast where the card was charged, complete with couples massage and champagne breakfast. Heath used business funds for his affair, business funds that I partially own, which means he didn't just cheat on me personally, he cheated the business, our business, the one we built together 12 years ago, with a loan we co-signed and profits we both earned. This changes everything. I screenshot every transaction, download every receipt, create a spreadsheet that would make a forensic accountant weep with joy. Dates, amounts, locations, purposes. 8 months of documented financial infidelity that goes far beyond moral failure and straight into legal liability. Then, I dig deeper. The joint investment account where my mother's inheritance sits. The one Heath convinced me to put under the clinic's financial management for better returns and tax benefits. Turns out there's another name on the account I didn't know about. A second signature authorization added 3 months ago. December 15th, to be exact. Right around the time the group chat was created. The name? Daphne Carson. I have to read it 3 times to make sure I'm seeing it correctly. He added her to an account containing my inheritance, my mother's money. The $300,000 that was supposed to be my security, my children's education fund, my future. He gave her access to it. I sit back in my chair and laugh. Not the happy kind of laughter. The kind that happens when you discover your life has been even more of a fraud than you thought possible, and the absurdity reaches levels previously only achieved by reality television shows and Shakespeare tragedies. My phone rings. It's my attorney, Marcus Brennan, returning my voicemail from earlier. Marcus and I went to high school together. He handled my mother's estate when she died. He's seen me at my worst. This barely registers on that scale. Estelle, I got your message. Tell me everything. I do. All of it. The affair, the group chat, the party confrontation, and now this. The misuse of business funds, the unauthorized addition of Daphne to my inheritance account. Marcus is quiet for a long moment. Then, how fast can you get to my office tomorrow morning? 8 o'clock? I'll have coffee ready. Bring every document you just described. We're not just filing for divorce, Estelle. We're filing for financial fraud, breach of fiduciary duty, and misappropriation of partnership assets. Heath just handed you the keys to his entire professional life. Can we really do that? Texas is a community property state with very clear laws about marital misconduct and business ethics. He used corporate funds for personal affairs. He added a third party to an account containing your separate property inheritance without your written consent. That's not just grounds for divorce. That's grounds for criminal charges if you want to push it that far. I think about Heath. 23 years of marriage. 2 children. A lifetime of shared memories that now feel like forgeries. Then I think about 8 months of Tuesday and Thursday afternoons. $300,000 of my mother's hard-earned money with Daphne Carson's name attached to it. 12 people who watched me be humiliated and treated it like entertainment. I don't want criminal charges, I tell Marcus. But I want everything else. The house, increased share of the clinic, full control of my inheritance, and enough child support that Thea never has to worry about college expenses. Consider it done. I'll start drafting the amended filings tonight. This is going to be a very expensive birthday for Heath. After we hang up, I make myself tea and sit on the back porch. It's a cool March evening in Austin. 72 degrees, clear sky. The kind of night where you can hear the highway in the distance and the neighborhood dogs barking at absolutely nothing. My phone buzzes. Text from Rosa. Mrs. Mitchell, I'm so sorry. I should have told you months ago. I left the phone for you because I couldn't watch anymore. You deserve to know. I text back. Take the week off. Paid. When you come back, we'll talk about a permanent raise. You did the right thing. 3 dots. Then, thank you. You're a good person. Am I? I just destroyed my husband's birthday party, and I'm about to destroy his financial security and professional reputation. But he destroyed my trust, my marriage, and my sense of reality first. So maybe we're even. Or maybe keeping score is pointless when the entire game was rigged from the start. Another text, this time from a number I don't recognize. This is Daphne. We need to talk. I stare at the message for a full minute. The audacity. The sheer, unmitigated audacity of this woman to text me after everything. I reply, "No, we really don't. But you should talk to a lawyer. You're about to be named in a lawsuit for being added to financial accounts without proper authorization. Have a nice evening." I block the number. Tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, Marcus's office. Tomorrow at 9, the courthouse. By tomorrow afternoon, Heath Mitchell's perfectly constructed life is going to look like a demolition site. And I'm going to be standing in the rubble, holding the blueprints for something better. Monday morning, March 17th, 8 o'clock sharp. I'm sitting in Marcus Brennan's office with 3 folders of documentation, a flash drive containing every screenshot and receipt, and the kind of caffeinated determination that could power a small city. Marcus spreads the documents across his conference table like a general planning a military campaign. This is better than I expected. Much better. Heath didn't just make mistakes. He made a comprehensive catalog of legally actionable errors. That's my husband. Always been an overachiever. Ex-husband, as of approximately 1 hour from now. He slides a paper across the table. Initial divorce filing. Standard grounds plus adultery, which Texas still recognizes as fault-based grounds. That alone affects asset division in your favor. I sign it. My signature looks remarkably steady considering my entire life is being reorganized on legal letterhead. Now the interesting part. Marcus pulls out another document. Breach of fiduciary duty claim against Heath for misuse of partnership funds. Every hotel room, every dinner, every piece of jewelry he bought for Daphne using the clinic's corporate card. That's roughly $47,000 over 8 months. $47,000? I knew it was bad. I didn't know it was luxury sedan bad. He was thorough. I'll give him that. There's also the issue of adding Daphne Carson to your inheritance account without your written authorization. In Texas, separate property remains separate property. Your mother's inheritance was yours alone. The fact that he added a third party to that account without your signature is fraud. Clear, documentable fraud. What does that mean practically? It means we're freezing that account immediately, removing Daphne's access, and transferring full control back to you. We're also demanding Heath reimburse the partnership for all personal expenses. And we're asking for an increased stake in the clinic as compensation for his breach of partnership agreement. How much increased? You currently own 40%. I'm asking for 60. I blink. That would make me majority owner. Correct? Heath would work for you. Marcus smiles, and it's the kind of smile that makes me understand why he has a 93% success rate in family law. He can either agree to the terms, or we go to court where all of this becomes public record. Every transaction, every hotel receipt, every text message. His entire patient base will know he's been using their payments to fund an extramarital affair. They'll leave him. Many will. Dental practices rely heavily on reputation and trust. Hard to trust a man who lies professionally and personally. We spend the next 45 minutes reviewing every document, every claim, every strategic move. By the time we're done, I feel like I've just completed a masterclass in legal warfare. At 9 o'clock, we walk to the Travis County Courthouse. The building is busy with Monday morning proceedings, lawyers in suits carrying briefcases, people looking variously stressed, bored, or resigned to their bureaucratic fates. We file the divorce petition. We file the breach of fiduciary duty claim. We file the emergency motion to freeze and transfer the inheritance account. Everything is submitted, stamped, logged into the system. Official. Irreversible. Real. Heath will be served by end of business today. Marcus tells me as we walk back to his office. I'm using a process server who specializes in, let's call it, dramatic timing. Heath will receive all these documents while he's at the clinic, in front of his staff. Maximum impact. Is that ethical? Entirely. And effective. He embarrassed you publicly. Turnabout is fair play. By the time I get home, it's 10:30. Paxton is making breakfast, which in his vocabulary means cereal and whatever leftovers survived the weekend. Thea is at school, presumably pretending her life is normal while fielding texts from friends who heard about the party disaster. My phone has been buzzing nonstop. I finally look at it. 17 missed calls from Heath. 23 text messages ranging from apologetic to angry to desperate. The last one, sent at 9:47, says, "Estelle, please. We can fix this. I made a mistake. Don't do this to our family. Our family. The one he systematically dismantled every Tuesday and Thursday for 8 months. That family." I don't respond. At 2:15, Marcus calls. He's been served. Apparently, he was with a patient when the process server arrived. Had to excuse himself. Staff is now aware something major is happening. Good. Gets better. Daphne was also served. I filed a separate claim against her for unjust enrichment and civil conspiracy. She can't access the inheritance account, but she did receive approximately $6,000 in gifts purchased with clinic funds. We're demanding reimbursement. She's going to lose her mind. She already did, according to my process server. Lots of tears. Lots of yelling. Threatened to call her own lawyer. I encouraged her to do exactly that because her lawyer will tell her she doesn't have a legal leg to stand on. That evening, Heath shows up at the house. I watch through the window as he parks in the driveway, sits in his car for 5 full minutes, then finally gets out and walks to the door. I don't let him in. We talk through the screen door like strangers, which is fitting because that's essentially what we are now. "Estelle, this is insane. You can't take the clinic from me." "I'm not taking it. I'm assuming appropriate ownership based on your breach of our partnership agreement. It's all in the documents. You should read them." I made a mistake. You made approximately $47,000 worth of mistakes using our business funds. That's not a mistake. That's a pattern. We have kids together. We had kids together. Now I have kids, and you have visitation rights pending their willingness to see you. Paxton is an adult. He can decide for himself. Thea is 18 in 3 months. She can decide too. His face does something complicated. Anger and sadness and frustration all competing for dominance. "You're destroying my life." "No, Heath, you destroyed your life. I'm just documenting it. There's a difference. What about forgiveness? What about 23 years of marriage? What about 8 months of lying? What about giving your mistress access to my mother's money? What about humiliating me in front of everyone we know while 12 people watched and did nothing?" My voice stays level. Calm. It's the calmness that seems to scare him most. You don't get to betray someone comprehensively and then demand forgiveness because the consequences are inconvenient. He tries several more arguments. I shut down each one with the kind of precision that comes from having spent 2 days thinking through every possible conversation. Eventually, he leaves. Drives away in his luxury sedan that was probably paid for with profits from the clinic I now effectively control. Paxton appears behind me. "You okay, Mom?" Surprisingly, yes. I think I'm running on spite and legal vindication. That's a valid energy source. 3 days later, on Thursday, March 20th, Heath agrees to the settlement terms. All of them. 60% ownership of the clinic for me. Full control of my inheritance. Child support for Thea through college. Division of remaining assets heavily weighted in my favor due to marital fault. He keeps his retirement account and his car. I keep everything else, including the house. Marcus calls me with the news. He signed everything. His lawyer advised him that going to court would be significantly worse. The evidence is overwhelming, and a judge would likely award you even more. How long until it's final? In Texas, there's a mandatory 60-day waiting period from filing to finalization. But the financial arrangements are effective immediately. The clinic ownership transfers today. Your inheritance account is already back in your sole name. Heath has been removed from the house title. That fast? When the documentation is airtight and the other party has no leverage, things move quickly. That afternoon, I drive to the clinic. My clinic, technically, since I now own the controlling share. The staff looks at me with a mixture of sympathy, curiosity, and what might be respect. The office manager, a woman named Patricia who's worked there for 9 years, pulls me aside. "Mrs. Mitchell, I just want you to know, most of us had no idea. And the few who suspected something felt horrible about it. Thank you, Patricia. Nothing about the business operations will change. Heath remains as the primary dentist. I'll be a silent partner unless financial decisions need approval. We're glad you're keeping the practice running. Heath is good at dentistry, just apparently terrible at everything else. That's possibly the most diplomatic way anyone has described him in the past week. Daphne, according to neighborhood sources that suddenly feel very comfortable sharing information with me, put her house up for sale. She's moving back to Florida where her sister lives. Apparently, Austin has become socially inhospitable for women who sleep with their neighbors' husbands and get caught. The 12 people from the group chat have mostly gone silent. A few sent apologetic messages. I haven't blocked them, but I haven't responded either. They exist now in a social purgatory of my making, uncertain whether they're forgiven or forever exiled. I'm comfortable letting them wonder. Rosa got her raise. 30% increase plus 3 months bonus, exactly as promised. She cried. I told her she earned it. She's the only person in this entire disaster who actually did the right thing, even if her timing was motivated by guilt. Thea goes to therapy. So does Paxton. So do I. We sit in separate offices with separate therapists and process the demolition of our family structure in our separate ways. Thursday evenings have become therapy night, which is ironic considering Thursday afternoons used to be a fair time. The symmetry is not lost on me. 6 months later, September arrives with the kind of heat that makes you remember why people call Texas the surface of the sun. But I'm not in the suburban house anymore, surrounded by memories of a marriage that was always more fiction than fact. I'm in a downtown Austin loft with floor-to-ceiling windows, exposed brick, and exactly 0 reminders of the past 23 years. The divorce finalized in May, exactly 60 days after filing, with no drama and no last-minute appeals. Heath signed everything, moved into a modest apartment near the clinic, and presumably began the process of rebuilding a life that no longer includes controlling 60% of his own business. I sold the house in July. Turns out a 4-bedroom property in a gated community sells fast when you price it fairly, and don't have emotional attachment to the square footage. The profit went into an account I control completely, joining my mother's inheritance that never did get touched by Daphne's perfectly manicured hands. With the house money and some of my settlement, I did something I've been thinking about for 15 years. I opened my own interior design consultancy. Small operation. Just me, a part-time assistant, and a client list that's growing faster than I expected. Apparently, people in Austin appreciate someone who can make a room look expensive without actually being expensive. Who knew that 23 years of stretching a household budget would translate into marketable professional skills? Paxton graduated in May, summa cum laude, with a degree in engineering. He got a job in Dallas, which means I see him every few weeks when he drives down for barbecue and laundry. He talks to his father occasionally. Brief conversations about surface-level topics like weather and sports scores. They're rebuilding something, but it's not the relationship they had before. That one died at a country club party in March. This new one is more honest, which makes it simultaneously more painful and more real. Thea chose a university in California, as far from Texas as she could get while still remaining in the continental United States. She leaves in 2 weeks. We've spent the summer together, just the 2 of us, learning how to be mother and daughter without the infrastructure of family dinners and shared household routines. It's different. Better in some ways, more complicated in others. She talks to Heath about once a month, usually when she needs something practical like insurance information or financial aid paperwork. Their relationship is cordial and distant, like acquaintances who share a genetic connection but no real intimacy. She says she'll forgive him eventually, just not today. Maybe not tomorrow either. Forgiveness has its own timeline, and hers is moving at a pace that can't be rushed. Heath, according to the financial reports I receive quarterly as majority owner of the clinic, has lost approximately 30% of his patient base. Some left because they heard about the affair. Some left because they don't trust a man who would betray his family. Some probably left because dental care is expensive and there are other dentists in Austin who don't come with moral baggage. He's still practicing, still doing what he's good at, which is fixing teeth and maintaining professional boundaries with patients, if not with neighbors. The clinic remains profitable, just less so. I receive the majority of those profits now. The irony is delicious every time I see the direct deposit notification. Daphne moved to Jacksonville in April. Her house sold for slightly less than market value. probably because everyone in the neighborhood knew exactly why she was leaving, and that kind of reputation doesn't increase property values. I heard through the very active neighborhood gossip network that she's working as a receptionist at a medical office and dating a divorced accountant. I wish them well. By which I mean I wish them exactly the amount of happiness that comes from building a relationship on the ruins of someone else's marriage, which is to say, very little. Rosa still works for me. She comes to the loft twice a week, keeps everything organized, and occasionally makes observations about my life that are both intrusive and completely accurate. Last week, she told me I needed to start dating again. I told her I needed to finish unpacking my emotional trauma before I inflicted it on innocent bystanders. She said that's what therapy is for. I told her I'm already in therapy. She said then I have no excuse. She might be right. But for now, I'm comfortable with my loft, my business, my kids, and my complete ownership of my own narrative. The 12 people from the group chat have mostly faded into background noise. Some tried to apologize. Some pretended nothing happened. Some moved away or simply disappeared from my social circle. I didn't block them or make dramatic pronouncements. I just stopped including them in my life. Sometimes the best revenge is just becoming someone they no longer have access to. Last week, I was at Whole Foods buying overpriced organic vegetables, and I ran into Heath. Not planned. Just one of those unfortunate coincidences that happen when you live in the same city as your ex-husband. We made awkward small talk. He looks older. Tired. Like someone carrying weight that can't be measured on a scale. He asked how I was doing. I told him I was great. He asked about the kids. I gave him the same information they give him directly. He said he was sorry, again for the 100th time. I said I knew, and that sorry doesn't erase history, it just acknowledges it. Then I paid for my vegetables and left. Because here's what I've learned in 6 months. Forgiveness isn't about the other person. It's not a gift you give to someone who hurt you. It's a decision you make for yourself, to stop carrying their mistakes around like luggage that never belonged to you in the first place. Do I forgive Heath? Some days, yes. Some days, no. Most days, I just don't think about him at all. Which might be the most honest form of moving forward. The party that destroyed my marriage happened on March 15th. But the life I'm building started on March 17th, in a lawyer's office, with 3 folders of documentation and the decision to stop being the woman everyone pitied and start being the woman everyone underestimated. Turns out, being underestimated is a superpower when you know how to use it. My mother used to say that the best revenge is living well. She was partially right. The best revenge is living well while also owning 60% of your ex-husband's business and having complete control over your own financial future. But mostly the living well part.
And that wraps up today's story. Now we want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments, and let's see how far these stories reach. If this story moved you or gave you chills, give it a like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories. One last thing, rate the story from 1 to 10 in the comments. Your feedback helps us bring you even better ones next time. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you being part of this storytelling journey.